Welcome to Car Show 1, where every ride has a story and every classic deserves its moment in the spotlight. Today, we're going back to the late 1980s to talk about a car that quietly shaped the future of Volkswagen sedans. It's the 1988 Volkswagen Passat B1, the final year of a model that helped define the modern midsize car. Now, some of you might be thinking, wasn't the Passat B1 introduced way earlier? You'd be absolutely right. The B1 generation actually debuted in 1973, and by 1988, it was still being produced in certain regions like South America and China. While Europe had already moved on to the B3 generation by the late 80s, the B1's clean lines, mechanical simplicity, and surprising practicality kept it in production much longer in other parts of the world. Let's start with the design. The 1988 Passat B1 was based on the Audi 80 platform and had that distinct wedge-shaped profile typical of 1970s and early 1980s European sedans. By the end of its run in '88, it had received several small facelifts, including updated bumpers, headlamps, and trim. It didn't shout for attention, but it had that subtle VW identity, understated, functional, and honest. One of the standout aspects of the B1 Passat was its variety of body styles. In some markets, it was sold as a 2-door or 4-door sedan, and perhaps most famously, as a 5-door variant wagon. The wagon, in particular, gained a cult following for its massive cargo space and long-distance cruising ability, a true workhorse for families and businesses alike. Under the hood, the 1988 Passat B1 typically came with a range of 4-cylinder engines, including both petrol and diesel options. These engines weren't built to win races, but they were reliable and fuel-efficient, and in true VW fashion, they were easy to service and built to last. One of the more common options was the 1.6-liter diesel, which became known for its incredible durability. It wasn't fast, but it was cheap to run and tough as nails. There were also petrol engines like the 1.5L and 1.8L inline 4s, offering smoother performance and better acceleration. Depending on the market, transmission options included a 4-speed or 5-speed manual, and in some models, a 3-speed automatic was available, although manual was far more common. Inside, the 1988 Passat B1 offered a straightforward but solid cabin. Hard plastics, cloth seats, analog dials, and a simple center console layout made it easy to live with. It had room for 5, decent legroom, and a surprisingly large trunk in the sedan models. The variant wagon, however, was in a class of its own, offering SUV-like storage in a sleek wagon body. By 1988, what made the Passat B1 still relevant in certain markets was its simplicity and reliability. This was a car that could take abuse, go for hundreds of thousands of kilometers, and still come back for more. It was a true working-class hero, offering German engineering at an affordable price. It's also important to mention the global reach of the B1 Passat. In countries like Brazil, the car was known as the Volkswagen Santana, and in China, it became one of the first modern sedans to be mass-produced under a joint venture with SEAT. That partnership laid the groundwork for VW to become one of the biggest automotive brands in China today, and it all started with this humble sedan. Today, the 1988 Passat B1 is a rare sight in most countries, but it holds a special place in the hearts of VW enthusiasts and vintage sedan collectors. It represents a time when cars were built with simple mechanics, honest design, and long-lasting quality. It's not flashy, it's not fast, but the Passat B1 was dependable. And sometimes, that's what made it great. So who is the 1988 Volkswagen Passat B1 for? It's for the old-school driver who values function over form, for the VW fan who remembers the brand's practical roots, and for the enthusiast who appreciates a classic that doesn't try too hard to impress, because it doesn't have to. Thanks for watching Car Show 1. If you have memories of the Passat B1, or maybe you owned one back in the day, let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us next time as we bring more forgotten legends and vintage rides back into the spotlight.